Greetings, everyone, on Sci Fiction Awesomeness. If you're listening to this episode, it's episode 54 on Subspace Radio Network, Sci Fiction Radio on iHeartRadio. So and Cotter for all the sci fiction goodies. Today, we have an amazing guest coming on here in about 10-15 minutes, give or take. His name is Brandon Alinger. He is the COO of PropStore. They have an amazing, super cool auction. Actually, two auctions. One's a music auction and one is an entertainment memorabilia live auction coming up in early November. Let's go over a little bit of that. I'm going to roll the trailer here for that they have on their site and go over their site as well. Let's get the volume up on that one. See what we got. Lots of goodies, lots of goodies. Got an alien head there. All kind of goodies. There's the truck from Aliens. There's the Freddy Krueger hand. Pennywise, can't beat that. Iron Man helmet. All kind of goodies. Tons of good stuff. There's the black hole robots. Night to the 12th. All the goodies. I want to go over their website as well. Everybody's having a beautiful day. Let's go over the website here for a second. So this is the website for PropStore. And this is their music memorabilia live auction, the catalog. Right here is the actual entertainment memorabilia live auction, November the 9th to the 12th, 2023. Going to be awesome. Going to be totally cool. Everybody loves Star Wars. They've got the C-3PO head. It's actually got Anthony Daniels' actual auction for his collection that he's put into the PropStore Entertainment Memorabilia Live Auction, London 2023. All this is going under the hammer. I think there's like 1,800 lots of items in the auction. There's also a music live auction as well. So let Brandon tell you a little bit more about that. It's me back again. Hello, everybody. This is Owen for scifiction.com. Also, we're simulcasting on YouTube at SciFiction Official, our Facebook page at SciFictionCOM, Twitch and Twitter at SciFiction. We will be coming to you in January. A little event info. We'll be coming to you in January 4th or 5th through the 6th, 7th at the Ernst Memorial Convention Center in New Orleans, Louisiana for Fan Expo New Orleans. We're really looking forward to that. They've been packing on guests, and we always look forward to the events at the Fan Expo and everybody. The really great team they have there. Always look forward to working with them and doing all kind of goodies coverage. May even be on some panels. You never know. Doing some. I think this year they have a podcast stage, I believe, for the event. We can go a little bit over that real quick if you like. Let's get their Fan Expo page up here. Go over that real quick before we get on with Brandon. Let's see here. Fan Expo. We'll bring that up here in the browser window. I think that's it. Yeah, there you go. Fan Expo. There it is. January 5th through the 7th. New Orleans Ernst Memorial Convention Center. We've got a lot of guests they've been packing on here. You got Jason Lee, Charm Sisters, Katie Sackhoff, Ninja Turtles, all four original voice actors that were in the suits from the original original cartoons. Fab Duo. You've got Vincent D'Onofrio and Charlie Cox from the Daredevil series. Danny Trejo, sorry, that little head freeze there. You got all the goodies. They're gonna have tons more guests. They're packing them on like left and right. There's Vincent D'Onofrio right there. It's a lot of good stuff, a lot of goodies. Gonna be a packed, jam packed. That event is January the 5th through the 7th, 2024 at the New Orleans Ernst Memorial Convention Center in New Orleans, Louisiana. We'll be at that one. That's our next event. We're here. We're back. Shortly here, we're going to be bringing on Brendan Alinger. He's the COO of PropStore in London and Los Angeles. He's going to have an amazing, some really cool stuff to talk about. There's a mega huge entertainment memorabilia live auction and a music memorabilia live auction with a lot of cool retro, really iconic guitars and prop pieces and costumes from all the music stuff you ever, from Michael Jackson to David Bowie and beyond. So that'll give you a little hint of what's going on with that. And they've got some really cool movie memorabilia, like 1,800 lots of goodies. I mean, I'm talking. I don't want to give any detail. I want Brandon to tell everybody, but it's some of the coolest stuff I've ever seen. We're talking Star Wars. We're talking Star Trek. We're talking everything and beyond. Hydration, Powerade, always good in the zero sugar. Some of the coolest stuff I've ever seen. They've had a lot of entertainment memorabilia live auctions. This is by far one of the biggest and one of the bestest. It's quite impressive what they put together. In my opinion, I love PropStore. I've always enjoyed watching their auctions and viewing them. I haven't bid too much on them. I attempted to bid on one, but I was like, nah, I let somebody else get that one because we're still trying to fund this bad boy. It costs a lot of money to keep all this stuff afloat. But yeah, there's some great auctions in there. In the future, I definitely want to bid on some items. The one item I kicked myself for not bidding on a few years back was the Men in Black Noisy Cricket and the Neuralizer thing with the memory eraser, because those actually went for some reasonable prices. I mean, it wasn't like millions, but it was about 9 or 10 a piece, which isn't that bad. If you compare them together in a display case in your house, that's awesome. But they had some cool stuff like Star Wars lightsaber. I think we went 2017 was in 40th anniversary Orlando Star Wars celebration, 40 years of Star Wars, and they had some really cool exhibition stuff that PropStore brought from that, and that was super cool. And I think the last time we ran into the PropStore was in pre everything 2019, before the events kind of shut down in that little gray area. But yeah, we had a blast. Comic Con, we always enjoy Comic Con. We're going to hopefully be going back this year full throttle. Trying to get in some information. My buddy may be doing some panels down there, and there's going to be a lot of good stuff. Want to shout out to a few people here that are on, maybe watching the broadcast, probably are some of them. We're going to be down in New Orleans, so we definitely have to shout out to the Federation, Randolph Allen, and Russ. He's my producer. He runs the Federation's Subspace Radio Network on iHeartRadio. He's my producer. Russ Hesledge. We want to shout out to the Battlestar Galactica community, and specifically Battlestar Galactica Raven and BFC. I don't know what their code is, but it's the Battlestar Fan Club and the IFB, Interfleet Broadcasting, New York Pete and Tipsy Toaster Chris. Those are awesome guys. If you have not checked out their channel, go check it out. It's Interfleet Broadcasting on Facebook, and I believe they have a YouTube channel as well. They're predominantly on Facebook because that's where they get all their friends and people in the groups, and that's some really great guests on there. In fact, Glenn Larson, we'd love to have him on as well. Glenn, we're looking for you. We're going to email you here soon. So get ready to talk about Battlestar and Knight Rider and all the goodies that you and your father have worked on and put together. I like Nightman. Nightman was a cool series. I mean, my brother, every time we see a purple Plymouth Prowler, we're like, that's Nightman. That series was gorgeous. And the intro of that first season was a sexy intro. I'm not gonna lie, with the saxophone. And then so the second intro for season 2 was kind of like a comic strip. He jumps down like a superhero and all this jazz, and it was super, super cool. We're looking forward to bringing Brendan Alinger on. Brendan is one of, if not quite, one of the biggest wealth of knowledge when it comes to movie memorabilia, props, especially Star Wars stuff. We got the Star Wars sign up there. There's a funny story about that Star Wars sign. So I was at a consignment market down here in Texas, and this guy had like a little snack stand. He had this big, obnoxious star, like 2 foot long, 1 foot something wide Star Wars sign, which is that, all made out of metal. And I'm like, dude, I want that. And the guy's like, well, I guess I could sell it to you. So I got it for 20 something bucks. I was like, yay. So I mounted that back here. So that's our main back. So we're actually working on putting a more bigger studio with all the professional mics and camera angles and all that jazz. But right now we've got that. We've got a lot of pop culture art we're going to be putting in the background, like super cool stuff. Some stuff from like Tom Osborne. It was the Kenner designer for all the Kenner toys. He's got one that kind of looks like an X-Wing I got from him. What else we got? We got, some of this is on the wall behind me, but we've got the Captain Kirk, Spock, the actual concept art cover for technically the first issue of 5-year mission for IDW Comics. Just tons of stuff. Oh, one of the coolest things I got, I interviewed the guy that did the Battlestar Galactica covers for the comic books, And I said, hey, you got all this like retro sci-fi? Can you whip me up a Flash Gordon piece? I'll showcase that later on the show. Maybe not this show, but maybe some other time. But he did this piece where it's like OG retro Flash Gordon with this obnoxious Ming face, which is totally awesome. It just comes right at you. All these rockets going off, and it's got like, it looks like 1930s Buster Crab Flash Gordon come to life in a comic form. And he colored it. It's gorgeous. That is a beautiful piece. Also want to shout out to our friend Jason Lewis. He does amazing art. He did a super cool Metroid. He does a lot of stuff. Go to his Instagram and check it out. We had him on a few broadcasts before. Jace Ventures. He's his buddy and him, which may be coming on soon in the future, have an amazing. One of their good friends and collectors passed away, and he had a massive collection of all kind of Star Trek, sci-fi memorabilia, a little bit of everything, toys, collectibles, really super cool stuff. Well, him and his friend Dave are going through all that information, all that items now, and pulling them out, having to catalog them, and they're going to raise money for his wife and son, who are now, she's now widowed, and they're going to help raise some money for him. So I want to shout out to Jason Lewis and Dave on the grid here. Dave's last name, by the way, they have a group. It's a private group on Facebook, but Dave's last name is, I just met him, actually started talking with Dave's last name is McHenry. Dave McHenry. Dave McHenry and Jason Lewis are putting that endeavor on, so we'll have them on the broadcast hopefully soon within the next week or two. But yeah, we're waiting on Brandon Alinger here, the wizard of PropStore. He's the COO of PropStore, chief operating officer, and he was kind of just a gentleman. I met him several times, and he knows a lot about moving. So if you're in the broadcast right now and you like to chime in on some of the comments here in the comments section, feel free to ask. Looks like we've got some comments now. There is a 19 days until Halloween. Yes, Joshua Ashley. Let me flash that on the screen here. Joshua Ashley says there is 19 days until Halloween. Yes, there is. And if I wouldn't recommend wearing any of these props because they're like iconic screen use pieces of like museum grade memorabilia. But hey, if you want to be Freddy Krueger and have that hand, it's the screen used one from the first, I think it's 1984 Nightmare on Elm Street. See what else we got. Hiya there, Marlene. Marlene is our assistant, my girlfriend. Super cool that she chimed in there. You got blow some little kisses there. Oh, and you got David McHenry. What's up, man? I sent you a message. I did just get a message. I just popped in my thing. I will get to that here in a little bit. I do want to talk to you though, man, about your auction. Have you on the broadcast? You and Jason's here soon to talk about what y'all are doing with y'all's cataloging of all the toys and collectibles that you have from your friend that passed away. That would be super cool to talk to you guys. So those are the comments so far. If you have any comments for Brandon Alinger when he joins the broadcast and like to chat with him about anything that's going on with the PropStore auction, we're going to leave the chat overlay here. The comments will come in. Most of the comments have been showed so far, but we'll be banging on comments, so we'll flash them across the screen in your name as well. Brandon is a wealth of knowledge, especially when it comes to movie props. So there you go. Marlene says, my girlfriend and assistant awesomeness says, I love you, baby. I want to hear more props for auction. Check out their site, guys. Yes, check out this auction. That's all good. We got auction. There you go. But yes, indeed. We will. Dave, is there anything cool you would like to ask David Brandon about his props he's got going on with this auction? He's got 1,800 lots. There's some Star Trek stuff in there. There's also some Star Wars, a little bit of everything. So if anything you want to ask him, feel free to chime in on the broadcast. He'll be joining us here within the next few minutes. Everybody, my name is Owen Cotter. For people just joining us, you're watching Sci-Fiction, simulcast on YouTube at Sci-Fiction Official, Facebook at Sci-Fiction COM, Twitch and Twitter at Sci-Fiction. And we're also on scifiction.com. If you go to our website, there's all the news, goodies, and all the super awesome, cool stuff we got going on there. We just got a new contributor named Dia, and she's an amazing, just really, really talented writer. She specifically focuses on video games. So we've got a video game contributor now, and she's been just cutting loose, going and just getting all this great video game content for us. We also want to shout out to our gentleman, Wizard of Awesome, and a beautiful soul at that, Mr. Kieran Burt from London. He's one of our main writers and contributors. He loves Star Wars. I don't know if he's up at this time. It's in London time. I don't know if he's around. But we definitely will send him the archive link of this for him to view and watch as we talk about all the goodies that PropStore has. So we're going to showcase their site one quick time before Brandon joins us, so everybody can get familiar with what we're talking about today. This is the PropStore of London, in LA's website. They're going to have this awesome C3PO head they're going to have on the auction, as well as 1,800 incredible lots of television, film, and music memorabilia. They also have a music auction that's going to be going on after. It's around the same time. I think that's November the 10th. Yeah, November the 10th. So PropStore is going to present 170 iconic pieces of music memorabilia on day 2, November the 10th, of our 4-day entertainment memorabilia live auction. They've got some amazing stuff. I'm talking stuff from AC/DC, Michael Jackson, David Bowie. Just I think when he's under his name by Tom Jones. We really want to bring. Speaking of David Bowie, we really want to bring his son on down the road, uh, Duncan Jones, because he's a sci-fi producer. For people that don't know about Duncan Jones, he produced the movie Moon and the Netflix original series, and all in the same. It's kind of a trilogy. It's in the same universe. Mute was a television series, kind of a cyberpunk sci-fi. The first movie, Moon, starred Sam Rockwell, amazing actor, one of my favorite actors. And number 3, I think he's either turning into a graphic novel or another TV show or something like that. I'm not exactly sure what he's going to be doing with the third, but there's like a trilogy. But he's basically created his own sci-fi universe, and his name's Duncan Jones. That's David Bowie's son. So check him out. And if you highly recommend watching the movie, watch the television series on Netflix, Mute and Moon, because Moon was amazing. It was a very interesting film. They also use miniature models in some scenes when they're on the moon lunar surface. The actual rover is a miniature model. I think maybe PropStore might have had that back in the day on one of their other auctions. Not sure on that. I want to say they might have. But we're waiting on Brendan Alinger here to join us in the broadcast. Everybody just joining us. My name is Owen Cotter, and you're watching Sci Fiction on Facebook and all the other goodies. And we're on the radio. This will be aired next week, Thursday. I believe that is towards the end of the week on Thursday at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, 5 to 6 p.m. Pacific. And that'll be aired on iHeartRadio and Subspace Radio Network, which is the premier professional geek radio. You got a lot of other good shows in there too. I want to shout out some of those shows. Dean Hagelin from the X-Files has his show, Chill Pack Hollywood Hour. Also have the Seventh Rule with Sirach Lofton from Star Trek Deep Space Nine and Ryan Husk. You've got, I tell you who needs to be on there is my boy Manu Inte Reme. He's got Dangerous Thoughts. And it's a super cool kind of like out there, paranormal, sci-fi, conspiracy, all kind of wild stuff. They talk a little bit of everything, movies, TV shows. I was just a guest on his show this past week, and it was awesome. But I believe we have coming up here shortly in the broadcast. Looks like he just logged in. Let me see. We got him on the camera and the goodies. So we got it. Anyways, everybody, we're about to bring on Brendan Alinger, so stay tuned here. We're going to get him on the broadcast. Brandon, can you hear me or see me? Brandon, hold on there for a second. He gets everything set up. We're going to be talking with Brandon here shortly. He's got an amazing auction he's going to be putting on. They're going to be putting on their company PropStore in London on November the 9th. It starts, and it's a 4-day auction, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. And it's going to have music memorabilia, all kind of entertainment memorabilia, just tons of goodies. Some of the most coolest and awesomest stuff, Star Wars, Star Trek, Indiana Jones. I'll let him tell you about all the goodies. But he's going to be joining us here shortly on the broadcast. We're looking forward to talking with him. I do not know. I do not see or hear him. He is there. Oh, here. Okay, cool. Let's try it now there. All right. I see a black screen. Can you hear me or see me? See and hear you. I cannot hear you or see you, though, Brandon. Oh, wow. Okay. Interesting. That's weird. Never had this happen, honestly. Why is cannot see or hear? Yes, I am left in the show. Huh. It's never happened. Everyone can see and hear. Yes, everybody can see and hear me. Let me. I would recommend logging back out and logging back in. That usually fixes the glitch. Yeah. little technical difficulty. It's all good. We'll edit that out on the radio show. I've got wizard editors. They're awesome good. And then we'll also have him back on here shortly. We've got a lot of good stuff to talk about. Star Wars stuff too. Got a lot of stuff. For all the Star Wars fans joining in, we've got comments pouring in here. Everybody's really excited to talk with Brandon. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait to talk to him. He is a super wealth of compendium of knowledge when it comes to movie memorabilia, screen use, props, Star Wars, and everything. So really, 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 really feel free to ask questions, anything you can. Hey, there he is. Hey, Brandon, what's up, man?
Hello, hello. Can you see me now?
Yes, I can see you and hear you. Visually awesomeness.
Okay. It was telling me I've got a little status on the left. It was saying you're in the show. Everyone can see and hear you. So
Yeah, it's,
who knows?
it's all good. We can see here. You know, more importantly, man.
I'm here. I'm here now. Nice to connect with you.
Nice to connect with you as well. You've got a lot of goodies, y'all. I've been watching y'all's progress on the auction. What's going on? What y'all got going on that?
Well, this is one of our biggest auctions of the year. So this is what we call the Entertainment Memorabilia Live Auction, and it takes place in London next month, November 9th to 12th. There's some fantastic content in there. If you've seen the content, if you've seen the catalog, rather, you know exactly what I'm talking about. One of the highlights is the Anthony Daniels collection. So the actor Anthony Daniels, who played C-3PO, this is his personal material that he has been saving going back to that very first Star Wars film in 1976. The highlight is the actual C-3PO costume head from Star Wars A New Hope, which screen matches to multiple scenes in the film. It's a wonderful piece, one of the best Star Wars pieces we've ever handled. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. I think there's over 150 lots from Anthony Daniels.
Wow.
There's lots from all kinds of classic sci-fi and genre films and television shows. It's really a great selection.
I saw you had the black hole robots from Disney's Black Hole. Now, what's the story on those? Are they the miniature models or?
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, a couple of them are filming miniatures, and one of
Okay.
them may be a maquette, which is more like a design study piece. The Black Holes it's actually a very collectible title. There's a lot of love for that. Obviously, it's one of those films that came out in kind of the post Star Wars wake. I think Black Hole is maybe 79
Yeah.
from Disney, and those characters, especially, I guess, I don't know if we'll call them R2D2 ripoffs, but they're certainly in the vein of an
They're
R2D2.
little little floating little robots.
Yes, yeah, the old Bob and the Vincent, and that they're great pieces of design. I think people just have really fond memories of them, and I would expect those to do well. Generally, anything in the realm of hardware or robots attracts a lot of attention.
Very cool. I'm gonna bring your website link up here. There it is. Brandon Alinger, PropStore COO. PropStore.com is the website. And
Yes,
I wanted
sir.
to ask you some other questions. You've got Star Wars stuff in there. Is there any other Star Wars stuff in there besides Anthony's collection or any other items? I believe there's a few.
Yeah, no, there is. I mean, Star Wars is always a focus for us. We all love Star Wars. We have a lot of collectors and clients who are looking for Star Wars content. So there is a variety of different Star Wars pieces in the sale. One of the other highlights is a screen match TIE fighter pilot helmet from the first film. It's the one that has the silver mohawk.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a silver stripe painted on the top of the helmet. It's one of maybe two, I think, that have distinct, unique paint jobs in that film, as opposed to just being the straight all black helmets. So that's a wonderful piece. It's never been offered in public auction before. It's been with the same owner for a long, long time. He's decided now is the moment that he's going to pass it on, let somebody else become the new caretaker of it. And if you're a Star Wars helmet guy, this is absolutely one of the best. That one I believe has a pre-sale estimate of around £300,000, so it's on the pricier side. But there is a lot of content on the low end as well. There's a lot of pieces from the prequels. There are things like cast and crew items. There are production materials like scripts and photographs and blueprints, storyboards, all kinds of stuff for science fiction fans, really. Our thing at PropStore is we're all about bringing the original materials that were actually part of the making of the film or the television show. We call it the ultimate collectible. We feel it's one of the most interesting things that you could acquire if you're a fan of these films or these shows, is something that was actually there while they were creating it.
Well, let's talk about you got these items and they're like movie history, like they're museum grade movie history, the literal stuff that was in the movies. What do you think the intrinsic why do people go to buy the props? What do you think their main overall reason is, to have a piece of history, or what do you think?
Well, I think for a lot of people, it starts with nostalgia, and it's
Mm,
nostalgia for something that they loved when they were younger. And then I think there's an element of just appreciation, and I certainly have that myself. I think it's like we all love these movies as kids, but now,
Sure.
as adults, you view them through a slightly different lens, and really just appreciation for the quality of them and the achievement, in filmmaking and in cinematic history, and just their place in the history of cinema as an art form. And then I think it's people that are looking for something maybe a little bit unique to just
Mm.
own and to surround themselves with. I'm in my office right now. I have a couple of things around me that are personal to me, and it's like they're inspirational.
Yeah.
People like to have these things. They like to put them in their offices. They like to put them in their home theaters. They love the connection. It's really all about connecting with something that you're passionate about. And of course, the types of films and television shows that we have content from tend to be the bigger ones that do
Sure.
have a lot of passionate fans out there.
Do you have any Star Trek items in there? We got some Trekkies in the house here as well.
Yes, we do. Yeah, there's some great Star Trek pieces in this one. There's a Captain Picard costume from Next
Oh
Gen.
wow.
If we've got any Next Gen fans out there, various hand props, things like the L cars that sort of
Hmm.
translate backlit panels that are throughout the bridge sets on the Enterprise. I believe there's a couple of nice tricorders, maybe a phaser in this one as well.
Oh,
So Star Trek is one that we tend to have represented pretty well. Everything is online now. The catalog just released a couple of days ago,
about
so
two
you
days ago.
can see the full catalog at propstoreauction.com. There's also a PDF download, and then if you want to have the hard copy, there is a printed book that's available for sale at propstore.com.
And
It's a
those are
thick book.
gorgeous books, by the way.
Thank
Absolutely
you. Yeah, I don't have
gorgeous.
one right here in front of me, or I would hold it up, but they're a couple of inches thick.
About as thick as a dictionary with glossy, gorgeous photos on jazz.
Yeah, they're great reference materials. Even if you're not a collector, just to be able to flick through and see some of these pieces in the type of detail that you wouldn't necessarily get to see on
Right.
screen is a pretty fun thing. But if you don't need the physical book, you can also just have a nice PDF download and browse it that way.
You've got some other items, and you just had the Indiana Jones 5 movie come out, The Dial of Destiny. You've also got some more earlier film props from that franchise. Which ones you got?
Yeah, I love the indie film. So a couple of great indie pieces. The shirt from Raiders, which is actually a screen match shirt, which means there's specific things with the stitching and the
Mhm.
the creasing of the material that you can match up to the screen to let you know it's this exact one. So that's a great piece. It's got a Western Costume Company label in the back of it with Harrison Ford's name typed out on it. It's one of the few shirts that is out there in private hands today. I don't think we've ever sold a shirt in the past. So that's an exciting one, and it is from the first film from Raiders. And then we have a bullwhip from the second film from Temple of Doom. And what's really special about that is it originated directly with Harrison Ford. So he donated it personally to a
Oh
charity
wow.
auction in the early
Very
2000s, and it actually comes with a little card on Harrison Ford's personal stationery, and it's a handwritten note that says, "This whip was used by myself in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom." So
That's awesome. Wow.
you don't get much better than that as far as provenance. And the bullwhip for me is one of the signature parts of the Indiana Jones movies. His hat and his bullwhip;
For
those are
sure.
the things that you
Y'all
remember.
had the hat in the previous auction, right?
We did. We've actually offered a couple of hats. Yeah, we've had one from Raiders and one from Temple. And we have had one or two whips as well, but this is the first one that's come up that has that Harrison Ford provenance, where it's come directly from him.
That's wow. Wow. Y'all had one of the stones, the
Yes,
magic
the
stones
Sankara
too.
stone. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. One of the Sankara stones in there. That's a nice piece. It's the rock style as opposed to the
Mhm.
illuminating style when they kind
Right.
of glow in the movie. This one, it looks like a stone, but it's got those distinct three horizontal stripes on it that
Mhm.
you'll remember from the film. That's a nice piece. We do also have a piece from the latest film, from Dial of Destiny.
Mhm.
We have a car, which is an actual automobile that was rented into the production. That it's part of the chase sequence in the beginning with Harrison Ford. Indiana Jones is driving the
The
car.
little mini car.
No, it's an actual car. It's
Oh
it's a
wow.
real it's a real vehicle. Yeah, full size vehicle. I think it's a Mercedes. It's in there. Take a look at it. It's
Very
a
cool.
nice piece, and obviously there's not much around from the latest film, being as new as it is. So
Right.
that's a very cool one.
Very cool. And you've got another auction that's going on the 10th. It's kind of combined with that. It's a music memorabilia. What are some of the items on that?
Yeah, so it's all part of the same auction
Mhm.
as we see it. We call it the Entertainment Memorabilia Live
Memorabilia line.
Auction. But but
Right.
but you're right. It does run for several days, 4 days in total. Day one is going to be all the biggest pieces from film and television. Day two, there's actually two sessions. Session
Okay.
one is music memorabilia, and then session 2 is the remainder of the Anthony Daniels collection. So
Okay.
the biggest Anthony Daniels pieces, like the C3PO head, are going to be sold on day 1, and then the smaller pieces from the Anthony Daniels collection, which includes all kinds of items, personal photographs, documents, et cetera, they're going to be sold on day 2. But to go back to your question about music, there are some fantastic music pieces in there. A couple of highlights that I could call out. One is a leather jacket that was owned by Michael Jackson and was worn in or it's from the Pepsi commercial,
Oh wow.
which had
Right.
Alfonso Ribeira in it,
Right.
one of his famous Pepsi commercials. He also appeared in the jacket at various events, various photographs. It's a black and white leather jacket with a lot of zippers on it. It's from the era when he was really known for his jackets.
Right.
It kind of it gets grouped in with the red Thriller jacket a lot. People
Mhm.
remember it in that same vein, and it's coming directly from the person who Michael Jackson gifted it to many years ago in the early 1980s. So that's a great piece. And then there's a George Michael jacket as well. One
Mm.
of George Michael's jackets that was worn for a video, and matches exactly in every way. It's very detailed with studs on the back and such. And those are probably the two top signature pieces in the music category. There's a bunch of great guitars as well. I
Mhm.
know there's a couple of guitars that were owned by Noel Gallagher, some guitars that were owned by various other musicians.
Mhm.
I think there's a couple hundred lots for music in total. So if you're a music fan, definitely take a look at that second day.
Definitely take a look at that. You've got a lot of other things in the entertainment memorabilia live auction, such as like you got, I believe, Jack Dawson, Leonardo DiCaprio's Titanic suit.
Yes, yeah, that's a great piece. That comes with a COA from Fox Studios. Fox did sell a number of costumes from the movie around the time in the late 1990s,
Mhm.
and this is one of them. I believe it is the pants, shirt, suspenders, and vest
What's the whole
of
suit?
DiCaprio. And Titanic continues to be one of those movies that endures and that people are looking for. So we had a Kate Winslet coat in one of our auctions earlier this year that sold for around $100,000, I believe, as a hammer price, and this one I think could do even more.
That's an iconic piece right there. That's the whole thing where he's on the board floating and he goes down the water and all that.
Yeah,
You've got
yeah.
Gladiator too, right? Like Joaquin Phoenix, something like for him as well.
A couple of great gladiator costumes. Yeah, there's a really nice Maximus armor, Russell
Mm.
Crowe armor, and then there is that Commodus costume from the end battle, if you remember,
Right.
when he sort of stabs Maximus in the back with a little dagger, and then they go out and have the big fight in the arena. It's Commodus's costume from that sequence specifically, and that one screen matches as well, meaning you can tell it's that exact outfit that he's wearing on screen. It's a stunt version of the armor, which means that it's cast foam as opposed to
Mm.
being fiberglass, but that is what he was wearing for the battle sequence, and there's various unique tells on it that match up exactly to the screen. So I love
Very
that
cool.
costume. I'm a big Gladiator fan also.
Me
Great,
too.
great
Mm.
movie, great costume design. I believe it won the Oscar for best costume
Like
design.
that mask he had now. Remember that mask he had?
Yes, yeah. In one of the earlier fights, we did have one of those helmets in the
Oh
past.
wow,
But yeah, a lot of great design in Gladiator on the
for sure.
costume side, the armor side, and the weaponry as well.
We got a comment here from Joshua Ashley says there's 19 days left until Halloween. So I've got some horror stuff in the auction as well. What kind of horror stuff you got?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, the auction doesn't take place until November 9th to 12th, so we will be
Right.
past Halloween at that point. And I
Okay.
don't know that anyone's really buying to wear these things for
Right.
Halloween, but if you'd like to, we're certainly not going to stop you. On
Right.
the horror side, I think the number one piece that comes to my mind is the Freddy glove. And the reason it's so special is that it is the one and only hero metal Freddy glove made for the
Mm.
very first Nightmare on Elm Street film. And we know that because of all these unique tells in the metalwork. It is just the metalwork that's original. The leather glove part of it is not original. The original leather glove was lost to time, unfortunately, but the metalwork
It
has got this
deteriorates over
great
time. It's all yeah.
yeah, it's got this great silver soldering. It's
Mm.
kind of like weld marks, which is how they attach the blades to the fingers. And when you look at the close-ups that you get in the film, both the first film and the second film, you see the kind of unique organic patterns of those solder lines run
Mm.
exactly, and they're unchanged. They're unchanged 40 years later.
Wow.
So you can match it exactly and know 100% it is this glove, this glove armor, these blades, etc that you're seeing on camera in film number 1 and film number 2. And it comes with some great additional materials like the original design sketch from the original designer
Mm.
and some documents, letters of authenticity from the original designer and the original fabricator confirming that they only made just this one for the original movie.
Wow, that's all. Wow. So that's the actual like all the metal and everything that Robert Englund wore in the movie in
Yes.
1984.
Yeah, that's right. I believe they had a stunt version as well, which was plastic, so a little
Like
bit
plastic or
safer.
rubber.
But for the close-ups, they're using the Hero Metal one, and that's what makes it so special.
Well, my buddy Lance would love that. His dad owns a steel company. He's a welder himself, so he probably love to check that out. I was gonna say you got some other horror items as well, like some Jason Voorhees and that real big Pennywise thing or whatever.
Yes, yeah, the Pennywise is a makeup components from
Mhm.
the recent film.
Right,
Take a look at the photos of that. It looks stunning in the
it's
catalog. Beautiful
gorgeous.
piece. The Jason material is from a collector named Mario Kerner.
Okay.
He was probably the biggest, or must be the biggest Jason collector in the world. Had an
Hmm.
amazing collection of masks, costumes, all kinds of things. And we've actually sold content from his collection over the past several auctions now. I believe we're getting towards the end of it, but there are still some very nice pieces in this auction, both masks by themselves, a couple of which screen match, and some Jason costume pieces, and of course the famous machete as well. So
Right.
if you're a Jason fan, we've definitely got you covered in this auction.
I just wouldn't wear that for Halloween, man. Not the screen use. That's just too. That's too much, man. I mean, I guess you
For
could.
the screen used ones, people tend to want to put them in a showcase and set them
Right,
up
like a
on display
display
in their
case with a
office.
little
Yeah,
plaque and all that works. Well, you got
absolutely.
some other items, sci-fi in the universe. You got aliens. What aliens items? We got alien too.
Yeah, the most exciting aliens piece that surfaced. Actually, it's a really good aliens section this year. There's things like the alien creature head. There's a pulse rifle. There's a
Hmm.
lot of memorable stuff from aliens, but the one that really stands out is the model miniature APC. The APC is the little, oh, armored
Tank
personnel
thing.
carrier is what it stands for. It's a little truck thing that basically takes the Marines out of the dropship and into the compound where they're going to explore
Right.
the xenomorph invasion. So the APC is a beloved thing for Aliens fans. This is, I think, the smallest model. No, that's not true. It's the smallest radio control model that they built for filming,
Oh
and
wow.
it was made specifically to come out of the Sulaco, but it actually still works. So it has its real RC car components in there, and somebody was driving it around the set on production with the remote. Uh, Amazing piece.
Just got little lights and all the little moving parts and everything. Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's fantastic, and it comes with a bunch of extra materials like photos of it being constructed, script, and the crew jacket, and various things like that. So it's a great set for an Aliens fan.
You got a head too, right? Like which one? What movie is that one from?
That's from the second film also. Yeah, the alien warrior head is from Aliens. We've had maybe one or two of these in the past. This is a really nice example. It's the signature item, right? It's an alien from
Sure.
Aliens, so it's right there in the title. You're not going to have to explain to anybody what it is. It's a nice piece, and the good thing about this one is it's actually in really good condition. Sometimes those latex materials can degrade and break down over time. This one's held up very well, and it's extremely presentable.
Very cool. You've got. I know Bob Burns has a lot of that stuff from the original first film and all that
Mm.
jazz. What other
Yes.
any other cool items you'd like to mention that you're looking forward to in the auction, music
Boy,
or
you've covered some of my favorites: Star Wars, Indiana
entertainment?
Jones, Gladiator, and Aliens. That's
Right.
those are big ones for me. I think the thing I'd like to point out is just the variety that's in the auction. And so, even though I'm talking about the highlights, the signature items, there's
Mhm.
all kinds of stuff in there. And from all kinds of titles. And sometimes there's movies that people wouldn't even think that anything would still exist from. And then
Mhm.
there's a great piece in there. So I would encourage everyone just to browse the catalog. If you look at the PDF, there's an index in the back. If you're looking online, you can use the menu bar on the left to browse by film title or by franchise, and just look for things that speak to you. Look at films you love, maybe even more obscure films that you love, and see if there's anything in there, because we do. It's amazing what still exists, and it's amazing what surfaces, and sometimes that's part of the fun for me, is not just the obvious ones like a C-3PO helmet or a TIE
Mhm.
fighter pilot helmet, but the more obscure titles that are just fun, that you wouldn't necessarily think are still kicking around. Sometimes pieces do surface. So take a look at the whole catalog and see if you can find something that you like.
For sure, for sure. And everybody, we could go to the website's propstore.com, I believe,
Yes, sir. Yeah, it'll be right there in front of you on propstore.com.
right down there, everybody. Well, Brandon, I wanted to thank you so much for joining in on this broadcast. I could talk to you for all day long about movie memorabilia. I love this stuff, man.
Well, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. And yeah, tune in on the auction day. The other thing I'll mention is just we do
Yeah,
live stream the sale. So on auction days, November 9th to 12th, even if you're not bidding, you just want to follow along, it will be broadcast at propstore.com.
Very cool. Brandon, always a pleasure. Have a beautiful day. I'd like to bring you back for future broadcasts, man.
Sure, love to. Nice to see you.
Peace, brother. Bye.
Take care.